Season 5 was decent, if not, for like one episode, I thought it was like really stupid. They have the whole shit with Rob in the first episode after the cliffhanger from season 4. And that's fine and all. It was a decent episode until the end, and that's only because they mess with it later. Gumball and Rob realize they don't really hate each other, and they can't hate each other after the fact that Gumball risked his life to save Rob. After Rob really hated Gumball for whatever reason, they literally show clips of Rob having more reason to hate Darwin. And they really showed in the show earlier that Rob hated both of them, not just Gumball, but apparently in this episode, he only hates Gumball. It's ruined Gumball's life. He takes Darwin and Anais and his parents and his girlfriend all away from him, giving Penny more screen time because she hasn't done shit ever. I don't blame them. Penny's not a bad character, but she's not in the main cast, and there's not really a reason for a girlfriend to be in the main cast in a kid show that's 11 minutes long for each episode. But yeah, that's like the most relevant thing she's done is getting, fucked with by Rob, ruining Gumball's relationship. So, congrats for her, I guess. I also do like little to nothing with Carrie, even though not Gumball, Darwin's dating her. Anyway, back to the opening episode. Like, the episode ends with them realizing that they can't hate each other, but they're gonna have to, because once he rewinds time, they're not even gonna remember this happening. Because Gumball kind of wanted to be his friend near the end, but he realized that they couldn't be because they're just gonna go back to being enemies because of like time shit or whatever, because of the remote that they were using to fuck with time. Don't question it, it's Gumball. But anyways, later, I think it was like episode 24, Rob literally mentions that episode. He mentions the fact that Gumball saved him a bunch of times and he can't hate him anymore. So he's not his nemesis anymore. But bro, you said that he wasn't gonna remember that. Okay, whatever. You try and do more continuity and then you fuck with that. Whatever. So that happened. And then, like, the whole entire episode just about him becoming enemies with Rob again. So why did you do it then? It's so dumb. There's also something that I have been forgetting to mention, and that's the fact that they definitely reuse voice actors. Nothing wrong with that, but there's like an episode with like toilets of all things, and the actor is clearly Sarah the ice cream. It's just like clearly her. And then they also have like this episode where Daisy the donkey appears, and I'm pretty sure she's voiced by Sarah too, if I'm remembering correctly. It could have been someone else that was like a side character, like Carmen or something. But it was definitely another actor that was already in the show. They also do like some references to like regular show and Uncle Grandpa and shit like that. They also reference fucking Harry Potter in like 3 different episodes. One of them's like this one-off joke where Gumball is like, oh, I should be like the evil orange wizard that is the villain. And then Anais is like, don't you mean the dude with no nose? Obviously, she doesn't say Lord Voldemort because rights reasons. But anyway, Gumball's like, all he did was follow him around. He wasn't very helpful. Just kind of making fun of Ron. He really didn't do much in the series, so. And then there's like a whole episode where Gumball and Darwin trying to learn about magic. And I'm pretty sure they reference Harry Potter in that episode too. They have like also the episode where They have Richard, like, actually doing stuff. Continuity-wise, since they've been trying to establish that for a while now. Since at least season 3. That, Richard really doesn't do anything. The one time he tried to get a job, he fucked up and failed, and it also was about to end the world because he was getting a job. But anyway, that's not the important part. He does shit, and there's an episode where he took like a whole day to get like butter or something at the grocery store, and he didn't get home till late at night when it was in the morning when he needed to get it. But yeah, they have an episode that's a Gremlins parody where he actually does do a bunch of shit and does help them. And since he's not supervising them, they turn into like these clearly little knockoff gremlins. It was a decent episode, but continuity wise, didn't really work because they literally say that he just sleeps and literally can't do anything. He's lazy. But yeah, in this episode, he's the one that keeps the kids sane and everything, even though they're home alone all the time. And I really don't want to, talk about that. But they have been trying to establish continuity. So why do they keep messing it up then? So yeah. Anyways, what else? I really think that's about it, since there really wasn't much to this season. Oh, I looked up the release date because of the whole regular show reference thing, because I didn't think it was out during Gumball. Oh yeah, they had a whole episode about the uncle that almost was like, crazy to me, because I thought they were gonna have an actually fucked up episode. The episode seemed like the uncle was cheating on the grandma, and it looked like they were going for the, oh, it's okay because she's crazy route, but it turned out he actually didn't mean it like that. Like, he says, I want to be more than Elmore Plus friends. So they, assume that he wants to date them or whatever, but it turns out that he just meant he wanted to be real life friends or whatever. They also had an episode about Gumball being a poser skater that was pretty funny. I don't know if I mentioned it, if it was in season 4 or what, but I honestly really liked the potato song. It honestly wasn't that bad for a kid show that is a parody and makes fun of shit. They also had an episode where they made fun of a knockoff show, apparently. That's a real show. Though they put it in their art style, because they don't really want to knock them off too much, I guess. So they fit more with the show. They also have this episode where they kind of make fun of shit that isn't real problems. And they talk about people getting made fun of for being old, and people getting made fun of for being overweight. Which I thought was kind of weird. Definitely a weird take. Honestly, those problems aren't, obviously super huge, but they're still problems. And then an episode or two later, they have a whole episode about sexism. I think they dealt with it decently, but it was mostly just haha funny joke. Because if they would have went too deep into it, probably would have had a lot of angry fans. The episode ends with honestly a decently funny joke where she says that women are always being interrupted and can never finish their thoughts or opinions, and then the amazing Quote a Gumball theme music starts playing. But I did think that it was dumb, for the men, that they kind of just were oh yeah, the men's problems is that they don't really ask for help. That's kind of their fault. Or that they don't use makeup. And then later they actually have like a more positive episode, funny enough. That's like them talking about how it's not bad for men to wear makeup or shit like that. And they call like Tobias and like two other, I think it's like Bobbert and Banana Joe. I'm not 100% sure. For, using toxic masculinity. It was a pretty good episode. Like this season was definitely hit or miss and a lot of weird episodes here and there, but it was pretty good. I still don't know why they're trying to use Rob so hard. Like they brought back Molly and they don't really do much with her. She had like one episode that was centered around her about her being boring after she came back into the series. And then every now and then, like, she shows up as some side character. But they don't, like, fully use her like they do with Rob. They just keep finding ways to use him.